Well, good afternoon. Today is Friday, November 14th. Jim's already called me 3 times today. He misses me. We have one birthday today. Today is Paul's birthday. So, Paul, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Paul. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope you have a great, great birthday. I love this picture. My mother bought it for me just a couple months before she passed. I love a bare tree. I like trees in the fall when they're like all full of different colors. But to me, the most beautiful tree is a bare tree where you can see all the roots, all the little branches and everything. I just find it very fascinating. I just love, not a dead tree, because although I have to take that back. In my TV room where I watch TV, my she shed. I used to be able to look out out my window, and then the houses behind the houses across the street, it's like the next street over, they had a dead tree, and I just loved looking at it. And then they sold the house, and the first thing they did was cut down my tree. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so upset. I mean, who wants a dead tree in their backyard? I understand. The trees behind us still are holding their leaves. They're holding on to them for dear life. So I might go out there today and rake a couple leaves. I'm not promising, but I think I might, because Monday is our pickup thing. I love the days where you could just, in Royal Oak, I think it is, which is like on the other side of town, but you just sweep all your leaves to the street, and then they have a street cleaner come and pick them all up. That would be ideal. No, you can't sweep them into the street here. If you do, you got to clean them up, otherwise you get a fine. So I just think it would be better for the environment. We wouldn't have all this paper bags and stuff, but nobody asked me. Once again, nobody asked me. I was texting Christy last night, but she had already gone to bed, so she said that when she got up this morning, she says, boy, my phone was blowing up with texts from you, because I was getting so annoyed at Jim, because Jim's up north, and there's not very good TV reception, there's not very good internet reception, because it's really like in the country, it's really like really in the country type of, there's not very many people that people live on the Upper Peninsula, but not a lot. They're really troopers, the ones that live up there, because there's not a lot to do up there, trust me. But he wanted to get Peacock, he wanted to get Hulu, and then Dick kept saying in the background, I have Hulu, and he says, yeah, but you don't have Hulu Live, we want to watch stuff live. And so I said, well, Jim, what do you want to watch? And he said, well, I want to watch the football game on Sunday. And I said, well, that's on Peacock. We have Peacock, all you got to do is upload the app. And he says, are you sure? And I go, I'm positive. So I walked him through how to upload the app on his phone, and torture. Let me tell you, it was torture. But we got it up. We got it up and running. And so then he says, oh, good, it's all running, and so that'll be good. So I said, okay. So then I hung up. I started to watch Law & Order. I started to watch Law & Order at 8 o'clock. There's a point to this story. I started watching it at 8 o'clock. And then he had called me, so I had to go out of it so I could help him with this thing. So I went back in, and then he calls me back again. He says, that's not working. I can't figure it out. So we walked through it again. I did some screenshots. I sent them to him. Oh, okay, now I get it. So then I went back to my Law & Order and saw about 5 minutes of it, and then he called again. He says, well, we're trying to put it on Dick's TV. And so I had to do another screenshot, and I said, all you got to do is put it on your phone, then you hit this little button, it'll project onto his TV. And so he said, okay. So we tried that. So I went back to watching Law & Order, and no, it didn't work. So he called me back again. So I called him, I walked him through it again. And then Dick says, well, I have Hulu, but I don't have Hulu Live. And so I said, well, then, Jim, I said, do you have a smart TV? And he says, no, I don't have a smart TV. I said, well, then, if you don't have a smart TV, you can't be having Hulu. He says, well, I don't have Hulu. He says, I have Hulu, but I don't have Hulu. It won't come on. I go, well, it won't come on because you don't have a smart TV. So then he says, well, let me call JoJo, which is his wife. So I thought, oh, good, another wife getting involved in all of this. So then I went back to watching Law & Order. And then Jim calls me back, and he said, JoJo said that we have the Fire Stick, and so that's why we can get it on the Fire Stick. So, okay, so we worked through it again, trying to get it working. Got it working again. Got it figured out, but we couldn't get it to go live. So finally we got the Peacock uploaded onto Dick's TV. So we got the app on his TV, we got it all set, and he couldn't get the live TV. No matter what he tried, he couldn't get the live TV. And he says, well, the only thing I'm worried about is the Lions game on Sunday. And I said, well, the Lions game is on Peacock, so if you get this all situated, you'll be able to watch it because it's on Peacock. And so he says, well, no, I want to watch it on CBS. And I said, well, you can't watch it on CBS because it's on Peacock. And he says, no, their Lions games are always on CBS, Channel 2. I said, well, first of all, Channel 2 is Fox, and Channel 62 in our area, and Channel 62 is CBS. So your football games are mostly on either CBS or Fox. I said, but this Sunday, it's the game of the week on Peacock at 7 o'clock. And so he says, yes, I know. That's why I want to watch it. And I says, well, you have the app. I just showed you how to put the app on. You have the app on the TV. On Sunday, you go on the app, and then you'll be able to watch the football game. And he says, well, how do I get to CBS? And I go, Jim, you can't get to CBS because it's on Peacock. And so then Dick says, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Sandy. So I'll explain it to him. And I said, okay. So then he said goodbye. I went back to starting to watch Law and Order again. And 5 minutes later, Jim calls me again. He says, explain this to me again. He said, because I can't seem to find CBS on this Peacock app. And I says, and you can look all you want. You're never going to find CBS on the Peacock app because Peacock is Channel 4, NBC. And so then he said, oh, well then, where's the game at? And I said, the game is on Sunday on Channel 4 on Peacock. And he says, oh, so if I want to watch the game, I got to watch it on Peacock. I said, yes, Jim, yes. So he says, well, I can't get it to come on live. And I go, you know what, Jim, at this point, just walk away from it. We'll try again tomorrow. We'll try, once you're fresh and you're not so frustrated, and once I'm not so frustrated, I said, because I'm very frustrated right now because you're not paying attention. You're not listening. You're not comprehending what I'm saying. And so then Dick said, I think that's a good idea. And I said, okay, so call me tomorrow. And he said, okay. At 10 o'clock, I went back to watching the 8 o'clock Law and Order. It was like, so I texted Christy. I said, I'm going to heaven. Do not pass go. Go straight to heaven. And then I put definitely going to heaven. And then definitely nonstop trip. It's like, oh my gosh. I love him, but he's technically, see, this is where we balance out because there's some things around here that I can't do no matter how he tries to explain it to me. It just can't get through my little pea brain. This is one of the things that just couldn't get through in Jim's little pea brain. We tried, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. But, so he called me this morning, and I was in the shower, and I thought, I'll call him back when I get out of the shower. So then he kept calling me, and I thought, oh my gosh. So I got out of the shower and called him back, and he said, yeah, I was just wondering what size shirt you wear. I said, when I didn't answer the first time, and this is what time I usually take my shower, you would have figured I was in the shower. He says, yeah, I never thought of that. But what size? So I said, I take an extra large. He says, oh, good, because that's the size I bought you. Okay, you already got the shirt, so what difference does it make? So I said, did you get the Peacock to work? He said, I think we did because it shows this morning the game of the week coming up on Sunday rather, on Peacock, which is Channel 4. And I go, oh, well, thank you for letting me know. So, but he said the weather's nice. He saw they were on their way to Dick's site to see if he had anything on his camera to see if there was any potential victims. So, but anyway, I'm finding it kind of easy to stay on my plan with Jim not here. I don't know why, because, well, I'm not really, I don't know what it is, but I'm doing pretty well. So, we'll see what Monday brings on my way in. Just got to keep trying, just keep plugging away. Congratulations to Terry Weeks and to Sue over at Sue Slims Down. They're both doing really well on their weight loss since August. They're both losing weight really, really well. I'm really proud of you. And, yeah, I guess that's it. So now Edie over at Edie's Adventures is trying to get me into hockey. She's sending me TikTok videos of hockey. I said, football, Lions, that's about it. Sometimes I'll watch her Browns because she watches my Lions. But, no, I'm just, football, that's about it. That's about the only thing I really watch. I've never seen a goal scored. Because I'll watch and I'll think, oh my gosh, I'll look away and they'll go, and he scores! I've seen all the replays, never seen an actual goal ever scored, ever, 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 ever. It's just too fast of a game. It's just too fast. Basketball's the same way, too fast. Baseball, too slow, too slow. At least in football, they have timeouts and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to go over to Kroger's now because to get some Friday deals, and I'm going to get my stuff for Thanksgiving, so I won't have to deal with the rush in the next couple weeks. And the Butterball turkeys are on sale for 99 cents a pound, and the Kroger brand turkeys are on sale, I think, for 89 cents a pound. If I can get a big enough Butterball, I'm going to get a Butterball. And then just get ready for my cousin coming on Sunday. So that's going to be it for me today. So once again, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for supporting me. Thank you for your prayers for Mary. She's doing pretty good. And until the next time.